everybody, and welcome to Coffee and Conversation with Carl. My name is Carl Birman, and with me today is an esteemed colleague and good friend, Christina T. Hall from Westchester County. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you so much, Carl, for having me. I truly appreciate it.
So, Christina, today's topic for our video chat is self-care and wellness for lawyers. And I feel very strongly about this, but I was curious what your thoughts about that topic are for yourself and your own experience as a litigator.
Self-care and wellness for lawyers. That is such a great topic and really on point with what I'm experiencing. I don't mind sharing with you that recently, within the last week, which was last Tuesday, I was experiencing some pain in my chest and some headaches, and I wasn't feeling too great and decided to have my pressure checked. And my pressure was ridiculously high. My blood pressure was 175 or 135, in which the doctors weren't sure why it was so elevated. I've had a number of tests since then. And now looking into my life as a litigator to say, I've been doing this for the last 10 years and not necessarily really looking into how we do things. And I actually this is such an interesting topic because I had this conversation with a judge recently because I had a trial even scheduled, a very contested trial scheduled for tomorrow and Friday. And in family court, you don't have trial every day. It's not like criminal court when you have a trial and it goes continuous days until you have a verdict, or in Supreme Court as well, so you have a verdict or decision. In family court, we pick trial dates here and there and everywhere. So this case that's extremely contested, me and the lawyers fight all the time on this trial, about the fourth or fifth day of trial within the last month and a half. And I wrote to the judge today and I just said, listen, I still plan to work tomorrow and Friday, but my doctors are asking me to reduce the amount of stress that I have right now while they try to control my blood pressure with this new medication. And I don't think this case is going to help me. And it was really hard for me to get to that point to ask that. It's like, should I ask it? Should I not ask it? And the judge really appreciated me asking that question because she says, Ms. Hall, you have to take care of your health. You have to make sure that your health is good before you move on. And I will definitely grant your application for an adjournment. So those are things we don't do. So it's really important. We have to take care of ourselves in order to be there for our clients to be able to move forward.
I've had that come up a lot, and I guess without naming names, I can tell a more general story about how a case I was brought in on kept getting adjourned and adjourned and adjourned. And when I spoke to opposing counsel, I could hear it in her voice that she was not only frustrated, she was questioning all these delays. I've been working for myself now for about over 25 years. It does take a toll. And I've learned to push back. And I've learned when I'm just physically overwhelmed. Thank God I don't have high blood pressure. And thank God I'm not on medication. And thank God, again, that you are listening to your body and your doctors and your needs. But I don't want to ever let myself get in that situation where I've compromised my own health and my sanity, because there's another case and there's another trial and there's another judge. I've seen too many people do that, and that's just not how I practice. So I had to push back to that other lawyer. And then at the last minute, she was like, well, of course, Mr. Birman, we believe that you're on trial in such and such other case. And in fact, I really was. It was just that initial doubt. I could hear it in her voice that she was thinking, is he really for real? Like, is there actually this other trial? And there was. Now, was that the right course? Should I maybe have tried to adjourn that other case? I don't know, but it all worked out. And again, I have been doing this a long time, and I know my clients appreciate that experience. Sometimes the client is the one that complains. But guess what? When you hire someone like Christina Hall or Carl Birman, you're not hiring a big law firm. There's no associate. There's no of counsel. I work from a home office. And so when they hire me, they understand that there sometimes are delays because I'm not a Superman. And so self-care, that's my topic today.
I think it's really true. And it allows, well, right now, I'm learning that time management is really important. Of course, we know that it's important. But the more and more you practice and learn what's important when it comes to self-management, you determine that time management's in there. Self-care sometimes means just awareness as well, right? So we see attorneys getting up in age at times. And I was just in court with an attorney who could barely walk out of the room. And I was just like, okay, you need to take some time for yourself. And we had to hold the door open for him for quite some time. He didn't have a cane. It was really struggling to walk out of the room. We see attorneys sometimes who gets to a point where they're even experiencing dementia based on the age. And self-care is also knowing when to retire.
See, but that's a funny one. I love your point, and I agree that sometimes people have to know when it's time to walk away from it. But I had a trial that I reviewed on appeal, and the lawyer was hard of hearing. He was a prominent Westchester legal aid attorney. He actually did a wonderful job. The problem was he kept missing things that were being said, and he would be like, Your Honor, I didn't hear that. And then they would just move on. And it really did create an issue in the appeal. The client was not served properly. In that case, however, I wouldn't say it was the lawyer's fault. I would say it was the system's fault that they didn't give him one of those devices so he could have amplified audio. And that lawyer really was sharp. That lawyer really fought hard for that client, however, was at a disadvantage because maybe the system didn't recognize his disability. So Christina, tell our viewers who may not know about the law office, so Christina T. Hall and Associates.
Okay, so at the law office of Christina T. Hall and Associates, we provide efficient service to those who are in need of an attorney for family court matters, criminal defense, as well as personal injury. Now, the umbrella of personal injury is very large, and what we specifically specialize in is vehicle accidents when children are injured, either in school or anywhere really, in care and foster care as well. And we do slip and trip and fall. The difference between a slip and trip and fall is a slip and fall is when you slip on a substance, and a trip and fall is where there's a defect that causes your trip. And that's basically what we do here at the law office of Christina T. Hall. I've decided that I'm going to stay in Westchester County and take some cases out of county based on the specific circumstances. Like sometime in the smaller counties, and I would say Suffolk, the family court is not that large. In this, all the lawyers know each other, judges know each other, and sometimes it's necessary to get an attorney out of county, depending on how conflicted the case is. And with those few exceptions, I'll go out of county. But I've learned that running back and forth as much, I really would prefer to be in one county so that I can focus on my cases there and not overextend myself, because I feel like I'm a zealous advocate. But when you do start overextending yourself, then they can't see that gift you have.
Yes, and you do have a lot of gifts, and that's why I invited you to be my guest today, because I've seen you in court. So how can folks reach you by phone if they want to follow up? What's your phone number and what's your website?
Phone number is 914-301-9417. 914-301-9417, and the website, which is cthalljustice.com.
Great. And of course, if anyone wants to follow up with me about any of my topics I discussed today, my number is 518-952-0516, 518-952-0516, and my website, carlbirman.com, carlbirman.com. This has just been a delight and a pleasure. It is an honor to have you as a guest on my show. I hope you come back to visit Coffee Conversation and Carl soon, because we love having you with us.
Absolutely.